Hello, everyone. Red button. Jeff says that we're live. So, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Great to be with you, Wayne.
Well, you're looking very well, sir. In fact, I love the color coordination.
Well, thank you. I try.
Well, you did really well. Hold on one second. I have the feedback in my ear.
Wayne, it looks like someone in the chat room had fears that you had been assimilated.
Where's Wayne? Assimilated into what? Hey, hello, good morning from Japan.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
And very sad to hear about the passing of Deb Schiller.
Yeah. Hello, Trish. Yeah, I agree. But hey, the journey continues on for her, Jeff. That's
It
the
does.
exciting thing. And I'm happy for it, dude. I really am. So, my friend, what else is going on?
Well, I've been in a very interesting place in life. The universe has decided that it's time for me to really learn some lessons. And so sorry to hear about that, Lemon Nomel. And I hope all our condolences to your family.
Oh,
And that puts in perspective,
Lemon.
what I was about to talk about.
Yeah. I talked to a couple of people today that are facing similar situations. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Trisha G. Hello, Mesh. So what go on, Jeff?
Well, I'm getting a lot of opportunities for excellence. I'm giving a lot of opportunities to grow and overcome, and it just seems to be one silly little problem, difficulty, frustration after another in my life here lately. And at the beginning, the first couple of times I didn't really do too well, but getting better and better. And Heidi tells me it's a transit where I'm, locked and loaded for success, but it's success with a price. So that's okay. Success with a price. I can live with that.
Oh, what kind of
It's
a
giving me some
price?
chances to overcome some, the tendency to get sidetracked by small frustrations.
Yeah, kind of like riding a bicycle if you haven't been on it for 6 months. It's going to get sore, but you're actually doing yourself a favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But other than that, everything's still coming up roses. And we went over 10,000 subscribers
I saw that.
going on a shortwave next week. And I did challenge that YouTube copyright. So that promises to be worked out within 2 weeks. And I think it's going to be just fine.
I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be. I don't know what it was particularly. Hello, Heidi. How are you?
It's a lesson. We were just talking about Heidi Vandenberg.
Yes, we were. Heidi, we were talking. And Heidi, what happened over on your channel today? Was that the most amazing thing? So I'll fill you in, Jeff. She had a live broadcast, a guest, Cliff, and I've never seen anything like it. How high did you get, Heidi? I think that there was I think you were approaching 2,000 live views.
Wow.
I was sitting there watching literally the counter almost doing this number.
That's awesome.
Well, I got to tell you, Heidi, whatever happened there, that was phenomenal. It it was just awesome. I mean, it was like, and the energy, Jeff, was in the room. Everyone was seeing it, and of course, it got so. What was that? 1,500 plus, Trish G. Yeah, it was. It was wild. It's just I've never seen anything like that. She actually beat Rex.
How about that?
Yeah. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Amanda B, good to see you. So yeah, I just thought that was a very phenomenal. And he's a very interesting guy. He really is.
Absolutely.
So now, are you doing Twitter Live during the week, kind of to fill in the gap in between? Or
Yes, I am. I have 115,000 followers on Twitter, and I'm trying to find out why we only have 10,000. I'm very happy to have 10,000. Thank you so much here on the YouTube channel. But of course, we're on YouTube timeout right now for some crazy reason. So I am doing the live shows on Twitter, and hopefully we'll be able to migrate some of those folks from Twitter over to YouTube. So it'll turn out to be fortuitous, I think, in the long run.
Well, it's interesting that you bring this up because your experience just highlights to the YouTube creators of how dicey it really can be. I mean, we've talked about the copyright, that it's abuse. And having thought about that, I will be going starting next Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern. We'll be going on my own live radio show from the Artist First Network.
Nice.
So we worked out the details on that and this afternoon. So, because again, if they can stop you from talking to your community, I mean, and it's so arbitrary. The door only seems to swing one way.
Right.
You know, Heidi, you are going to come on, right? I mean, because trust me, you apparently have got the energy going. I mean, and the thing about it is that it was quite an amazing thing, because Cliff, he really talks a lot, you know, and Heidi just had the great presence of mind sitting there. It was quite amazing, Jeff. It really was.
I'm sorry I missed that one. I've been kind of busy today.
Well, you look good too, buddy. I have to say, you look good. You look good.
All things are good. You got some challenges, but things are good.
All right, good. So anything odd or interesting happening in your world these days?
Well, the more that we were talking with Rex about reptilians and about revelation, and talked with Jay Campbell on Monday about the situation with politics and the pedophilia and all the chemtrails and GMOs and everything. Yes, we are definitely still have the Mistech bracelets. All you have to do is go on my website, jeffreydarty.com. We'll take care of you. But I continue to be excited, Wayne, because I believe that with this all-out assault from the powers that be, the New World Order, whatever you want to call them, I think it means that they know that they're losing. They know that they are getting very, very worried. They're attacking us because they know that we're becoming a threat. And I tend to look at it as encouragement that we are going to win this race, and they're starting to see it and they're getting desperate. So we have to understand what's going on, know that victory is within our grasp, but that doesn't mean the fight's over.
Oh, and in fact, it's like anytime you corner an animal, particularly a wild animal, it's going to become even more vicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just so that's why I think that anyone who wants to begin to have their voice, add their voice to this community that we're growing. And I'm visiting a lot of other channels that I've been introduced to, and there really is an interesting phenomenon taking place here, Jeff. This community, these people that are in the chat room right now, I was talking about this earlier, guest after guest says that the people here are the kindest, they're the most mature, very even, very what I call balanced group that they have seen on most of the YouTube channels.
Excellent.
And I think it's because there's something that is going on, and that energy is spreading, and we're seeing more and more channels that are being born, so to speak, and they are, I guess that's really what they are, carrying that message of unity like I haven't ever seen before. It's just amazing.
It's excellent. It really is. It's I think it's exciting times. I know that I'm somewhat in the minority, but I'm convinced that 2018 economically, spiritually, politically is going to be a banner year. I see great things happening this year, and I really don't see any doom and gloom that some others do. I think it's going to be a banner year across the board in 2018.
Well, I was talking with someone earlier and about the Mandela effect, and maybe forget who it was specifically, but listen, I believe that what we have an opportunity is really to form a community that where we can begin to combine our collective consciousness on a foundation of which this one is, which is really a foundation. It's kindness. You know,
I
you
agree.
I wouldn't describe love because love has it's ambiguous.
Ambiguity.
Yeah, it's ambiguous in its perception of what is real, but this group is kind. I mean, they are kind. It's just yeah. And I'm just happy that we're a part of it, buddy.
So Wayne, do you ever come to the place where, if anyone was kind, you would have to say that Christ was kind, and yet there was at least two occasions in his life, one where he went into the temple, stopped the sacrifice, overturned the tables of the money changers, set all their animals free, and another time where he told them that their daddy was the devil and they were children of the devil. So how do we know when to do which?
Well, listen, you attack my wife or, in any way try to infringe past that line, you'll find this very kind man become a very different man. And it doesn't change that. I think that book goes on to say, don't let the sun fall on your anger, does not let it set on your anger. I was hearing Elton John, don't let the sun go down on me. But I think Paul may have said that. Come on, you gotta laugh. Come on, that's funny, folks.
I just
That's
have a
funny.
terrible Michael Jackson joke in my mind, so that's why I was holding back.
So, but yeah, listen, it's the emotion part of it. That's why I don't like the Hebrew God. His emotions are about as wide and varied as mine. And
I never understand. Nobody wants to have a jealous boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, or husband. No one wants to have a vengeful, wrathful boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, or husband, but they're lining up to get a God that tells them that he's wrathful, that he's jealous, that he's vengeful. Come on, man. What are you thinking?
well, I read stories all the time where I ask that question. I'm going, what? I agree. It's strange. Here's one for you. So, been following this program on the History Channel, Who Killed Hitler, Killing Hitler. And
Or did he die of natural causes, Wayne?
they have shown conclusively Hitler was never in Berlin when the Soviets came in. That wasn't him. The bodies they found in the grave, the Soviets did, was two females.
Exactly.
Stalin said he knew the son of a bitch would never take his own life.
Yep.
But now here is what they're finding as they're starting to do this forensic trail of, well, all right, what happened to him then? Where'd he go? How'd he get out of Berlin? Was he even in Berlin? And that's what they're finding out. He wasn't in Berlin. Here's the strange thing. So the Germans developed jet engines, jet airplanes, 1941. Now, I want to pull this up for you because I thought you might find this kind of interesting as well. Let me get this up here.
I've walked many of the areas that Hitler walked when I was living over in Germany.
All right. So you see this?
Yes.
Jeff? Okay. So let's talk about this. They have found in Austria, in the earliest airing of the latest installment, in Austria, they found a 1,500 square foot bunker. And the Germans blew it up. And I mean, when I'm talking thick concrete, 5 feet thick, guess what was in there? All of these there's, I think, what is it? Yeah, 262s, these right here.
Messerschmitts.
That's what was in there. Now, the question I'm walking away with, the Germans had the technical superiority over the Allies and the Russians. Jeff, why did they let it go? See, I don't think the Allies defeated them. I think the Germans let go.
Why would they quit?
Why would they quit? Do you know they already had the heavy water? And Oppenheimer, the guy who invented the fusion formula, he was there already. He testified that the Nazis already had the recipe.
So why didn't they deploy it against the Allies?
Exactly. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. What's up here? Now, so we always go down and you can say, well, maybe they just weren't smart enough. No, these guys were really smart. They made more advances, Jeff, in the leap of knowledge of humanity. Singularity, them alone, the Germans, the advances that they made in technology in their brief existence, it's off the scale. What happened?
Well, Wayne, I lived in Germany for 3 years, and I can assure you that the Germans are anything but stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And so here I am, was getting things ready for the show tonight, and I'm sitting here and I'm just stopping and I'm going, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Hitler got out. A lot of them got out. It appears that they made it very well safe to Argentina. One of the things they found, Jeff, in Argentina, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
They found a facility that made heavy water.
What if Hitler not only escaped to Argentina, but what if perhaps some of his purported extraterrestrial friends assisted him to another place or another time where he may still be living?
And Claudette, you're right. They did go to Antarctica, made a huge effort. They actually had the base down there. It has to be, Jeff. I agree. Okay, I say have to be. Okay, let's just look at a world of all things. It didn't make sense to me. They imploded. They had the fleets. They could have been having fleets of these jets. They were 100 miles an hour faster than anything the Allies had.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because when you think about, living among the German people for 3 years, we proud to be Americans. The Germans are very, very proud people. The Germans are very, very, you could say arrogant, but they're very, very strong-willed, strong-minded people. And of course, Hitler and the National Socialist Party elite would probably be, even more so. So what in the world caused Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist Party elite to decide not to deploy superior weaponry and not to conquer the planet when it was well within their grasp, it looks like, militarily?
I don't think we've gotten the right version of history here. Now, Laura Eisenhower will be coming on next month onto the channel. And, obviously, she is very much aware, awakened. She understands the frequency. She is where all of us are at. But I still have to ask her, what did she really know of her great grandfather?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blazing River is saying that he believes, or she believes, that Hitler went off planet as well.
Wade, yeah, I do. So hold on a second here, Jeff. I'll just tell you what. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. I was needing some other moderators, and because Davey guy he's a champion, man. It's like, I mean, I told him, I said, I can see where you and Doherty get along just fine. I
What did
don't
he
really,
do?
well, he just, the man is amazing with the stamina.
Oh, gotcha.
Doesn't need that much sleep, and I just said, wow, because I'm one of these guys. Now that I know what I'm doing when I'm sleeping, I want to get in there. It's kind of like, I want to get in the swimming pool. So, but,
Absolutely.
but the question still comes out here. Something isn't right. I did a video today. I posted one of my programs called the Timeline Distortion Effect. And thank you, Wade. Appreciate it. Well, Gary.
The timeline distortion effect.
Yeah, I'm just adding a couple of moderators here because these people got our back. So thank you. It appears, and again, they showed how MJ12, their playbook, they have to get the information out there. You can't do anything and not have permission to do it. And here's the thing, they give us the information and then they immediately diss the information. They'll get you sources, they'll get you references that will show you that the information is blatantly false. And that's what they want, because now you get the debate. Well, they would have never let it out if it hadn't been. Well, if it was for real, they'd never let it out to begin with. You see how that argument goes? But what we can say,
Got it.
It's just like Sandra Dee with her pictures when she lived up in Massachusetts. That was a craft in the sky. Now, was it ours? Was it of extraterrestrial origin? I lean more that it's ours. I think it's reversed engineered. But it leads credence, Jeff, to what President Eisenhower was left with Truman. Truman was aware of, and it wasn't apparently the grays. So much as I understand, it was apparently the tall whites. I don't know. I want to find out for sure. Maybe Laura would know that. But in any case, that this treaty that was made, and today we see the technology. Mike gets back to the point. The Germans gave up for something.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense. And, Eisenhower in his farewell address warned of the rise of the military-industrial complex. And, I mean, if he was afraid of what was happening back in his day, what would he think about what we have going on today?
He would say that we're a police state.
He would.
That's exactly what he would say. I still contend that Kennedy was sacrificed because when it hit him with the disclosure, I think he had a complete cognitive breakdown. And I think he saw this because of his pedigree. Kennedy was a war hero. He knew what it was to sacrifice his life already. So he wasn't afraid of death. He lived in a great deal of pain. The man wasn't a saint. He was just a good man, had faults. So what? But the thing is that I'm convinced the more I've read now that he said BS on this. The people need to know.
So you think they had him killed to prevent disclosure?
I do. I think he was going to expose this military industrial machine.
Well, he certainly talked in, somewhat veiled terms about a shadowy cabal that's, seeking to, to take over. And, coming on the heels of what President Eisenhower said, it sure makes for some interesting speculation.
Well, it does. I mean, I think disclosure is coming. I think they're piecemealing it to us right now, and they're feeding it to us in small bites.
I just hope they're not feeding us. I just hope they're not feeding us deception, not just disclosure.
Well, you see, this is the thing about this holographic trap. I mean, I'm so looking forward to Dr. Miller coming on Friday night again, because the whole point of my program today is this. I think we're seeing evidence of more and more of a time distortion, a time distillation effect. And I think that what's happening to us collectively on this planet. Do you know, Jeff, that there is a theory out there that a wormhole can be as big as a solar system? That
I've not heard that.
literally a planet can go through a wormhole. Now, if time, yeah, you got to check that video out. I found a company that does advanced theoretical applications to, for instance, warp drive. And if you can begin to think that there is an element that go faster than the speed of light, well, then all the brakes come off. So if time can in fact be observed both forward and backwards, and if you then have the ability to inject yourself into that timeline, what are the repercussions?
I'm not convinced, Wayne. I'm not convinced that I could see us going to the past, but how can we go to a future that's not yet determined? When we get there, we change it and we can never get back to where we are. I just don't see how we can travel to the future unless it's a one-way trip. And it would be a very, very, very risky one-way trip, at least the way my Southern brain is working on that conundrum.
And you know, it's the limitations of our thought because we can't think that. But apparently, the looking glass device does not take you into the future. It shows you any number of possibility of futures. That's the thing. Now, if you saw a possible future that you wanted to go, then you could take the steps to see that become manifested.
So it's kind of like the Star Trek episode of The Guardian of Forever. I think it was called City on the Edge of Tomorrow. And they were looking at this gate. I am the guardian of forever. And it showed them time. Showed them time. You could see all of time. And that one you could jump through at a certain point and go into time. But you're saying the looking glass just showed them all of time, showed them future. So it was kind of like the movie with Jim Caviezel and Dennis Quaid, the Frequency.
Oh, yeah.
Where he told his buddy to buy Yahoo, and the kid bought Yahoo and became a multi-billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see the future.
Yep.
Could you imagine the power a man who could see the future would have? Could you imagine the power a man that could see the future would have? He could probably go from a laughing stock to, say, president of the United States if he could look at the future.
So here's a conundrum for you. Apparently, part of this disclosure process is that this is how they actually parcel out that information, is through the one medium that the species collectively were most likely to see, and that's Hollywood movies.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, I think it looks like we do get some sort of mini disclosure, soft disclosure, Easter eggs in Hollywood movies. But what I've also come to the conclusion of, Wayne, is, you know, being a writer myself, I've written a few books and I actually wrote a screenplay, got offered money for it. Writers are creative people. And when you're creative, even if you're not spiritual, you're accessing the ether, you're accessing what we would call the astral plane. And if these ideas are bouncing around between the elites, if these ideas are bouncing around between the reptilians or whoever, if these ideas are bouncing around in the ether, in the elite, then anyone that is of a creative mind that's tuned into that creativity, they can pull some of that in. So I think that not only do we get in the entertainment, movies, TV, books, not only do we get soft disclosure or Easter eggs, as they're said or called, we also get individuals just tapping into things that are flowing in the ether saying, that's a great idea for a movie. Boom, we get X-Files, we get Interstellar. I could go on and on down the list.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have music has always been my life. I played a number of instruments, but one of the things I love about Van Morrison in his interview, he says, I don't know what it is. He said, and he used the very word, the ether.
Right.
His exact words were, I have the ability to set myself into the ether, and this is what I get.
Interesting. And I was also on Jennifer Collins, Jennifer Baranski's show this week, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes. Hello, Jennifer. Now, Jennifer and Sue G will be on along with Sandra D. Sue G, Sandra D, and Jennifer C. There we go. A, B, C. Everybody is 1, 2, 3. Anyway, we're going to be doing the mirror experiment. It's called the Mirror Awareness Project. So, folks, come join us. Even if, like I told everyone, if there's 10 that we get together to do this collectively, there's never been any project, any experiment done, Jeff, that had 10 people doing a mirror awareness.
Sounds like fun.
You're going to join us, right?
Sounds like fun. I'm in.
All right. Are you bringing, who did you do a show on Thursday night with?
Well, I do it with Scotty Roberts.
Scotty Roberts, that's
what
it.
we're probably going to have to end up doing is doing that one recorded, because Scotty doesn't have a YouTube channel currently. So I'll do it and record it with Scotty, and then I'll put it on. I'll probably put it on at the regular Thursday night time. We'll just do it early.
Okay. All right. Trisha G, if you're up, you can join us. Let us know. I'd like to get as many people as we could, Jeff, on the kind of like a round table.
Right.
And Raven Wolf, I'm borrowing that from you because I love the idea. I told him, I said, man, when I was a CEO of a number of software companies, that's the kind of innovation I like. I'd gone out and hired them. So, but tomorrow night, yes. So, and Rex, I don't know for sure, Jeff, but Rex might actually make a guest appearance.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I was pleased to do. I think we did 2 shows on, I don't know what day this is, but day before or day before that. It was fun. We had talked about reptilians and talked about the book of Revelation. So we tried to stay away from the controversial subjects, just went with the easy route.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the book of Revelations.
Exactly. That was the first thing I said. No S in that book, ladies and gentlemen. It's the book of Revelation. Jen, I just remember writing down your address a couple days ago and putting some stuff in the mail to you. One of them is back order, but you're getting most of your stuff. So, folks, I am getting out the Mistec. So if you want more, I'm putting in a new order. Shameless plug. There you go.
Hey. None of that matters here. Trish, I'll send you the invite. It'll be tomorrow night, 7:00 my time, 9:00 East Coast time. Godforsaken in the morning time, your time.
And we are going on shortwave radio next week around the world, literally around the entire world. Shortwave radio starting next week. So,
do they have internet access that you can access the shortwave via internet?
I think there might be some places. I'm not aware of them. This particular provider, doesn't offer any websites that have any streaming. But we are going out to every one of the 250 million people that own a shortwave radio. So I know it doesn't make sense cognitively. It's a weird little niche, but yet something in my blink is telling me to do it. So we're doing it.
It's called ESP.
Let's hope so.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Someone wrote me, and in one of the comments, they said, well, that's what fluoridation does. It shuts down the pineal gland. And I said, yeah. I mean, they don't want us. I think, Jeff, the more and more I think about this, I think we have a natural extrasensory perception in us. I think it's been in us as a survival instinct.
But I I was awakened to this day before yesterday. I can't remember when it was, but the conspiracy goes so deep, Wayne. The rabbit hole goes so deep that it goes down to the construction of the furniture in our houses.
Mm-hmm.
They've got us sitting on furniture that's so comfortable, so luxurious that we plan ourselves there and we stay there and we lose our muscular virility. We lose our flexibility. And someone just showed me the other day how, I mean, this person doesn't sit on furniture. She squats, she stands, she stretches, and she's in great shape. She's very, very flexible. And it just shows me that even down to the construction of the furniture, they're trying to weaken us as a species. So I'm not sitting on furniture anymore either.
Are you going to do all your shows standing up?
Well, sometimes you got to sit, obviously, but I'm not sitting around the house anymore. If I'm reading, I'm going to sit on the floor. I'm going to, crouch.
Okay.
So my crotch will be crouching. So yeah. And I did it. I've done it for like 2 days, and it's so much. I mean, I can actually feel my body. It feels better.
Well, I mean, I think to each his own. Listen, I don't disagree with you on this. I mean, there is.
It's a conspiracy, Wayne. It's a chair conspiracy. It's a couch conspiracy.
It's all a
They're
conspiracy.
called lazy boys for a reason.
By the way, look at this. Trish G is cracking up.
What's Trish G saying?
I think she's loving the crouch thing, Oh, crotch. I thought it was the crouch.
Well, I meant to say crouch, but I said crotch, but you're stretching out your crotch.
Well, that's exactly what you're
doing. And
doing.
Nobody wants to have a tight crotch. You want that thing to be loose. You want that thing to be fluid. You want that thing to be flexible because it's part of your core.
It is part of our core. Can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I will move on from the crotch talk.
Well, I'm just trying to keep the conversation lively.
Crotch Talk Radio, right here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I'm not going to show this whole thing, but Jeff, I want to show you this. I showed, I guess what was it? You and I've been doing this now for almost 3 months. Back in the beginning, I know. I pet goat too. This is another one. I'll let everyone see this. You need to go over to this guy's. Here's this YouTube channel, In Shadow. It's a modern Odyssey animated short film. Here his. Go over there and subscribe if you care to. These guys have done some work, Jeff. Are you ready for this?
I think I am. It's 13 minutes long, Wayne.
No. We're only going to see a couple of minutes. I'm going to only go about 3 or 4 minutes. I want you to see, though, this is a reflection of the Western culture of what it's done to us. And tell me if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
Just barely.
Because it's just started. It'll get louder. Check this out, Jeff.
Wayne, I don't hear a thing, brother. The video's compelling, though.
Nothing. Do you hear it now?
I do hear it now.
Okay. So anyway, I'll stop it there. Don't want all you guys to, what do you think, Jeff?
It looks very interesting. Some powerful imagery there.
It really is. It's very powerful. And I left the link there for everybody to see. So yeah.
Wayne, it reminds me, with all of the, the things they showed there, pardon me, media, vaccines, pharmaceuticals, chemtrails, the water. We're worried about GMOs, and the reality is that we are slowly but surely becoming genetic genetically modified organisms ourselves. We
Well,
really are the last generation of real humans, and we better get busy.
when I see imagery like this, that this someone obviously was very awake. It is an indictment on the Western culture. And it's much like Dr. Miller said, if you were born in the West, you're most likely Christian. You'll most likely have a diet. You most likely are going to be of a certain political mindset. It's almost like it is already laid out as to, at least at the beginning, of what you're going to be fed. And when I see something like this, Jeff, we live our lives every day. I mean, you go out and eat, we all go out and eat. And as we're eating, maybe some of us are aware of what we're putting into us. But the fact is, where I go to my supermarket, there's a pharmacy in there. I'm sure there's one in yours. There's never not a line there. Never. And the fact is, in the United States, this is the startling statistic. 9 out of 10 people are on some sort of medication.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 now.
So that means that the big pharma and big medicine cabal is making money off 90% of the population.
Now, people will argue with me and say, Wayne, no, that can't be right. But I challenge you, my friends, when a baby is born in the United States, it starts almost immediately with the inoculations.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I found so powerful about that one image of the baby being born with all the chakras in line and alive. But immediately through the vaccination and the et cetera, that they get, and then you carry it forward and you start looking at the statistics of what they have with elementary age children. The schools today, I was reading, if your son or daughter shows sign of not having what they consider to be a normal growth, normal interaction, et cetera, the recommendation then goes in, eventually that child will be on some sort of a attention deficit type of drug.
It's crazy. It really is. But, I had an occurrence a couple days ago that gave me some hope. I was out at a restaurant, and I was there with my mom and her husband, and there with a nice young lady as well. And the waitress came up, asked me what I do. I told her that I'm on YouTube, and she just randomly, this is a waitress, I don't know, 20s, maybe late teens. And she just randomly out of the blue just said that she just saw a report that showed that the flu shot is only 1% effective. And then my mother, who is not, doesn't, at least outwardly, she doesn't appear to be the most awake type person. She said, well, the last 5 years has been very effective in giving me the flu. So there's people that are not like us that are starting to put the A plus B and getting something other than C. They're starting to have the wheels turn. And that's why I think these elites, these cabals, they're getting very, very nervous because we're becoming much more effective.
I agree. And so the thing that you have to begin to think about as we become more aware, then what's the next move that you're going to see? I think in many cases we're seeing forced indoctrination, induction, and what you want to go ahead and say, taking the vaccine.
Why are you going to pay however much it is? I don't care if it's 50 cents. Why are you going to pay for a shot that is 1% effective, but yet is going to give you the flu over half the time? Come on, man. What are you thinking?
Well, you know what? I don't like, dog DNA in me.
What's wrong, Wayne? Don't you know they love you? They're just trying to put that stuff in you because they love you and they want you to be better. They want you to do better. And of course, Wayne, the real secret is they love you because you're fresh meat. Finger looking good.
Hey, listen, they want to make me a labradoodle, you know? I don't know. But, I'm going, no, 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 no. And of course, when you get to a certain age, then they want to start pushing onto you the shingles, because if you got the smallpox vaccination, then it means now you're much more susceptible to getting shingles. And you're going, but I thought the smallpox was to help me from getting. Now you're going to tell me I took it. This is what I get.
Well, it's like all the commercials. Take this drug and you'll be able to have a better erection. Of course, you will bleed from your anus. You will probably die of a heart attack. You will have outbreak all over your entire body, and your ears will melt and your nose will turn into a Pinocchio nose.
Oh, listen, I did a story.
But you'll have an erection.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, it's so true. I mean, and now you've got salmonella that's out there. I did a story about a guy that was in the Philippines, apparently ate something that he shouldn't. Guess what happened to his testicles? They exploded.
What did he eat?
Apparently some kind of chicken or something. And anyway, it had the salmonella germ onto it. But this one has morphed to where they said his testicles exploded like a volcano.
Wow. How long did it take? Do you know?
Whether it was a day or an hour.
I'm just wondering if it happened at the restaurant or did it happen a little bit later at home?
I think he said he was sitting at home and then kaboom. I mean, I can't, you see, I can't even fathom what that would even be like.
And you talked about going out to restaurants, Wayne. It is becoming increasingly more difficult for me to go out to a restaurant because I don't want someone else cooking my stuff where I can't see it. I don't want to be eating something that I don't know what I'm eating, because I'm got to tell you, if your testicles explode, that ruins your whole day.
And my wife and I share the cooking. I really like cooking. It's alchemy in its purest form.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's a nice ritual as well.
Yeah. I mean, today I was working with red and green bell peppers and making a dish, and it was just marvelous. But getting back to that whole point is the fact that here in the West, the fact that you see
Kung Pao chicken. That's funny. Somebody says Kung Pao chicken.
I got that. I'm telling you, we got the brightest group out there. There's no doubt about it.
And if you're going through the drive-through, if you're having another supper in a sack, 99 cent heart attack, you deserve what you got coming. You're doing it to yourself. Come on, man. Think.
But that's the problem. That's the only thing you get in the diet now. And the thing, how it's done though, Jeff, and this is what sucks about this. I think I may have even censored myself, but it sucks, is the fact that they make it so cheap. And the fact that in this country, well over 70% of the population that's working works for a minimum wage or that just above it or below it. And when you look at the consumer price index, food is the one thing that they took off the list. And what's happened is that we've had this backdoor inflation that has made the grocery store right now, a gallon of milk here in Denver is nearly $8 a gallon. I can remember, folks, when I was 10 years old, it was 25 cents.
Well, Wayne, you know that adult humans are the only adult animal that drinks milk. And not only that, we're the only one that drinks the milk of another being. So I don't care if it's 8 cents or $80. I'm not drinking it.
Well, I understand that's good for, those who can't, but for the vast majority of people, this is how they have to feed their families. And that we have to always be mindful. And so the point is, they make it so affordable in the processed foods that many times this is where most of the population is turning to get their substance. And then it becomes a vicious cycle. You
It
start
does.
eating this crap. The next thing you know, you're getting 17 years olds that have plaque already into their arterial arteries. That becomes a problem. And then you begin to see they have obesity that leads to what they call adolescence diabetes. And once diabetes sets in, then it's a vicious circle. So that video is so apt. That's what we do here in the West, from birth
Well,
to death.
I'll just share with you what Arnold Schwarzenegger told me. I won an event to be able to work out with him. And we're working out, and I asked him, I said, Arnold, how much milk do you drink a day? And he said, I don't drink milk. Milk is for babies.
Well,
Just stop.
yeah, and the our message is limited in its scope to who it will reach, but this is what we're dealing with on a society basis, and it's a problem. It's when you look at the healthcare, it just becomes crazy. So again, it's almost like we're in a production line. We're asleep. Even those of us who say we're awake, we're still asleep as we're going through this production line, from the minute we enter into this death portal to the minute we're exit out through the birth.
It's crazy, man. It really is. And I'm convinced that one of the reasons why we're so easy to dumb down is because we're so sick and we're so out of shape. And I hate to, I'm talking about furniture, I'm talking about milk, but I mean, if you get up in the morning and you have milk and cereal, that dumps a huge carb overload into your system. Your insulin fires up, your body shuts down, and literally your breakfast, your belly, your fat has stolen your breakfast. You don't even get to use that stuff. Stop eating that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourselves back into shape and do a little fasting. Lay off those carbs. Get back into shape. Get back to the place where you can hear the voice of the spirit. End of rant. I'll get off the milk and stuff now. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, listen, longevity of life, I often say, is the goal of all of us, but it's the quality of that longevity of life.
Dawn is saying that she's lactose intolerant. I wonder if we all were.
I am. I can't eat ice cream. I can't drink milk. It just even cheese.
Hillary Davis is saying that the human body is designed to be able to repair itself. And the reason why they're driving us to the dairy aisle, the reason why they're driving us, and I'm extrapolating on her comment, the reason why they're driving us to the drive-through, the reason why they're driving us to the Doritos and all this stuff is because when we eat this stuff, it actually inhibits our body's natural ability to heal itself, gets us hooked on their pharmaceuticals so they can get paid while we get played.
And that's what happens. You start selling out, and yeah, and I want to also say again to Limey Pie, Jeff, I have never been a recipient of a healing session done remotely. It's the best way I know how to put it, and it works. It's the most amazing thing. Uh, and it shows to me again, we have that ability within us, not only I think to heal our own bodies, that I do. I lay hands on myself every morning, speak to my body, but that there's an energy that can in fact be sent to a person that it does. And I've never experienced anything of what this beautiful, beautiful soul did. Wow. That's all I know. And so,
Good
because,
stuff, Wayne.
well, last Thursday, buddy, I tell you, I was that close from literally going to the hospital. It was, the pain was, the human body can endure a lot of pain. particularly if you have a high threshold of pain endurance, but it does wear on you. And by the way, I'm glad you brought this up. So let's talk about how people can learn to get good sleep.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about crotches. I brought that up too.
No. I think
Oh,
this
okay.
one, I've been talking to so many. Hello, Rocker Chick. How are you doing? Boy, there's so many people in here, Jeff. There's just great people. Scotty Hall, good to see you.
He says he'll eat what he likes. He's going to die anyway. Well,
Well, I want to talk about how we can get people. Okay, so it's been almost what, 6 weeks ago you did the what to expect from life, death?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, about 6 weeks ago. Amazing how time flies. Um, but I thought about this. If that we can reach that place in sleep where we go to, where I think is eventually where we do go to when we lay these bodies down, how can we help people to get there to sleep, Jeff? And probably you're the wrong person to ask because you don't sleep that much.
Ah, but grasshopper, when you
Yeah.
sleep polyphasic style, the way I sleep is the natural circadian rhythm of humans. The way I sleep is the way that most humans slept until industrialized, nations, came to be. And when you sleep that way, you almost instantaneously go into REM sleep. So you end up getting much more REM time when you sleep in a polyphasic fashion than when you sleep in the traditional Western 8, 9, 10 hour block.
So through the polyphasic point is what, 20 minutes on, 3 or 4 hours up? How does that work?
Well, that's the Uber man, and I haven't
Uh-huh.
I have not got there yet.
Okay.
I'm on what is called an everyman schedule. I'll have it like a 3.5 to 4 hour core sleep,
Okay.
and then about 3 20-minute naps during the day.
Okay.
And what that does is it trains your body. As soon as you lay down, man, you're out and you're into REM right away.
Hmm. Now I'm a big believer. That all the companies that I ran, one of the policies I had at HR was that I didn't have a problem if my employees took a nap. We actually had sleep rooms for my employees that they could go in, and I allowed them each to have a half hour. I'm a big believer in the 20-minute power nap in the mid part of the afternoon. It works. My
Rocker
product.
Chick says she wakes up every hour. Rocker Chick would be one of the kind of people that could do that Uberman schedule, which generally speaking is a 15-minute nap every 2 hours. She could probably rock all night long.
Long. And I employed a lot of software coders, a lot of programmers, and those people have I always marveled at their sleep patterns. And I'm a big believer that there are those who are made to work in the AM during the daylight hours, and there's those who do best at nighttime. And I think that that's part of the problem we have here in an industrialized nation is that we force people into a rhythm of getting to the job by 8, then leaving at 5, and those type of it, and it's very counterintuitive, Jeff. That's
Right.
what I found.
And Gary asks, are your dreams messed up due to less sleep? Well, personal experience that, again, you go right into REM sleep. And I have a lot more dreams. And I'll say probably 10% of the shows I do, the subject matter comes from some of my subscribers. And the other 90% comes from literally out of my dream sleep. I get up, I go to my whiteboard. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 show topics written on my whiteboard right now. And almost all of them came out of my communion with myself during my sleep cycles.
Yeah, no, and I'm a big believer as well as that I've learned this over the years. You can actually program your sleep. At least I can. I can literally know that if I need to come up with a solution, I can tell myself that I need that answer, and most of the times it does come. You're on the mute. Mute.
I learned how to rod a sidewalk in my dreams. I learned how to skate backwards in my dreams. Literally.
Well, I always remember that song. I like dreaming. Dreaming can make you mine.
That's right.
I like dreaming. All right, so we can do karaoke on every other Wednesday night.
That might actually be fun.
It would be fun, back in the days when I was in a band. Yeah, it was cool. But well, Jeff, my friend, you're going to be with us tomorrow night. We're going to be doing the Mirror Awareness Project. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe nothing. Maybe we all get a little better of ourselves. I think that Jennifer, Sue G, and Sandra D, we're all going to get on here. I hope that Trisha G joins us. Heidi, you have a open invitation. I know Rex is there. In fact, I love it. Get it where everyone in the chat room could come on. But we'll get into some meditation, kind of get relaxed, trying to get ourselves in the right place to be at, Jeff, and then we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. And thanks to Heidi for giving me a little bit of insight on the opportunities for excellence that have been coming my way consistently over the past few days. And thanks as well to Hillary Davis, who's helped me with a lot of stuff over the past few days. And thanks to you, Wayne, for allowing me to come on your channel while I'm dealing with my YouTube timeout.
Oh, man, you're my buddy.
My brother from another mother.
It's like, hey, your mother from another brother. No, Jeff.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. It's like I love the little box that you have. It's like, get that out of my face, Get
that clown out of my face.
We've got to laugh. We got to laugh. Always welcome here, and we have fun. The people love it, and I like that. So Friday night, Dr. Miller. Saturday night, 7:00 my time, 9:00 Eastern. The fabulous Trisha G will be on.
Numerologist extraordinaire.
She is. And just to let people know, next Monday, I have a special guest, Daisy, who will be coming on talking about Planet X. Going to talk about Nibiru. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Steve, the slightly slanted sleuth for truth slayer, will be on. You and I have our Wednesday show. And then next Thursday, Jeff, see what your schedule is. I might have you on as a first guest coming on the Artist First Network. Coming up with a name. You got to have a name,
It'd be my honor, Wayne. And, on my channel, I've got it coming up, and we'll be doing this live on Twitter, and we'll also be doing them recorded. We've got shows about I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched. We got shows about horror writers. We've got shows about mind control via digestion, hell enlarging itself, and even talking about Ghostbusters. So some interesting topics coming your way.
I love that. Do you know, just a little digression, who, when I was growing up, who I thought was one of the scariest people in the horror movies was Vincent Price. He had the genre down, and of course there was Bela Lugosi that was there before, but Vincent Price, the House of Wax.
He was a master.
Oh man, I mean, that dude always messed with my head. Do you know that he lived in St. Louis?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Just by the way, I want to say something. Trisha G, by the way, so the E rods, the J rods, these are the beans. Numerology. Well, Elizabeth, thank you. When people do these donations, I don't know. It's thank you. It'll go to help this thing. Here, I'm thinking about starting a fund for our community that we could begin to help other people with. But let me finish out this. Trisha G, listen. Apparently, Jeff, the and I want to make sure that the P52 J rods, they actually came from Orion. Numerology is very, very important to them. Very important to them. And they're the ones that are here trying to correct the damage that has been done to our timeline. And that's what we,
Interesting.
yeah. So, and people say, well, that's all nonsense. Well, we know this. We know that Groom Lake exists. We know, what is the other one in Utah? Dulaway? Is that the other area 50, whatever you want to call it? So I think they're here. I think they've been here all along. I also
Absolutely.
think
Well,
that,
folks, get off the couch, get back into life. Let's get it done.
hey, let's do it. Jeff, you're a good man. Appreciate you, everyone. Thank you for everyone stopping by. See you tomorrow night, and let's just see what happens, Jeff. That's going to be fun.
Well, we'll see you then. Have a great night, Wayne,
All
and
right,
to everyone in the
everyone.
chat room.